Tesseract Order of Magi warning in effect for November 19th, 2021. It is a lunar eclipse with discordant T-square aspects involving malefic planets for North America, South America, Eastern Asia, Australia. To be honest, I hate blood moons. The reason for that is they are tricksters, in my opinion. A blood moon is a light trigger which can be seen by many nations at once. There is no authoritative formula for how to break down a lunar eclipse, but there is a set formula with solar eclipses. Sometimes you are spot on in your interpretation of the lunar eclipse and can pinpoint exactly what will happen, and sometimes absolutely nothing happens, which leaves you looking kind of dumb. The event which a blood moon could bring can strike at any time with varying degrees of severity. It could be immediate, it can be as much as a month or more later, or simply never. Solar eclipses and lunar eclipses come and go all the time, but every once in a while we will see something that really catches our attention, and this is one of those times, since this lunar eclipse is formed under a major aspect. Actually, there's a couple major aspects, and they're all T-squares. So, the blood moon is in the 29th degree of Aries. It's a fire sign. Its house permutation is Sagittarius. Its decan is Perseus, which is the one who decapitates. The moon represents the people. The closest named star to the moon is a cluster known in Hebrew as Kima, which means rising. We now know this cluster as the Pleiades. The moon in such an event and aspect to me means a loss of temperament or losing control over something personal that they're trying to protect or secure. It has an aim to decapitate and make war/struggle. So I take this to mean as a bunch of pissed off people are rising, basically. The sun represents governance, such as the head of state, fathers, judges, bosses, etc. The sun's location is in Libra. It governs the relations with the public, partnerships, open enemies, lawsuits, courts. The sun and the moon are at war with these two concepts, and Jupiter is working as an arbitrator to work out the differences as the pinnacle of the T-square. It sounds eerily similar to the powder keg event going on with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So this ought to be interesting. It's funny how the heavens are basically spelling out what is happening here. Jupiter is expressed through expansion in this area of space known as Capricorn, which deals with trade and people's professions, business qualifications, superiors, credit, reputation, greatly influences marital gains and wealth. To me, it would seem that Jupiter will either try to pay off or threaten to take away basic needs in this kind of heavenly war going on here. Pluto is playing both sides in the conflict of the sun and moon by adding extra strength to the moon and only a little strength to the sun. Pluto expresses through coercion, domination, power, and subtle force. Pluto resides in Sagittarius, which matches the moon's permutation house. So, from what I can tell, Pluto is fabulously going to give the moon a lot of help during this conflict. There are a few dates worth looking at. The most obvious is obviously November 19th, 2021, a little past 1 a.m., well, depending on where you live, of course. In a solar eclipse, we would normally wait for the next planet to hit the area where the eclipse occurred as a possible trigger for an event, which most of the time is spot on. Now, this is a lunar eclipse, so, the lunar eclipses don't really play by the rules, but I'm still going to add this in here anyway. So, for this lunar eclipse, there is no planet that hits the area of the eclipse. Instead, the moon just circles around the entire zodiac and swings back around and hits its own location again. Now, this happens on December 16th, 2021. Now, for the sake of the warning, I'm going to say that the week before and after December 16th is a hot time for activity, as well as the time surrounding the actual lunar eclipse. Blood moons have a reputation of calamity, sudden terrors, assaults, loss of life, anguish, anger, and an overall sense of doom. Precautions to take during this time are obvious. Cancer is the opposite of the pinnacle of the T-square. This is where to bring harmony back to a physical reality in a sense. So Cancer is a hard shell, which symbolizes protection. People need to bring tenacity and protect and find the correct suitable environment for themselves during this time. That's the only way legitimately you can bring balance to the force per se with this with these types of aspects. Mikal Milad, who is a member of the Tesseract Order of Magi, has an interpretation, and I'm going to list his statement. His is a little bit different than mine, but I still respect his abilities a lot with these matters. So he says, massive water rising, especially rivers, related events like collapsing dams and devastating floods. Jupiter presents in T-square, doubles the lunar chaotic effect of water segregations. The major effect of the sign is actually between Jupiter and Neptune in Aquarius. It means three things. 1, water expansion and death of drowning or massive rain. 2, spy and intelligence ops expansion. 3, expansion of evil mystical operations. In favor of my conclusion is the T-square aspect of Sun, Moon, Jupiter. It makes the word in Hebrew Seyrah, or the name Sarah, like Abraham's wife, the principle of bina, or restriction, like a dam on a river. And he has another, he's one of our translators, so he's also breaking down another word which is written in Hebrew here, but it means princess, or to soak, or to be certain in a certain state of mind. It could be permuted to make the word Hasar, which means prince. Neptune, Jupiter, Aquarius. Those three letters, what they represent in Hebrew, is to twist or to tilt or incline towards something. Now, there's a whole lot more letters that Jeremy and Mikal translated here, which is so much I'm not even going to sit here and read all of these letters. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to post them in the comment section below. You can read them for yourself. This is what the heaven is actually saying, letter by letter, aspect by aspect. Whatever is in trigger, we take those letters and we see if anything comes up in the Hebrew as a word. And they do. And there's a lot of them. So look in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Be safe out there. And God bless you.